أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In previous few lessons we have reached إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. So till this point we understood in the first few ayats the grandeur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Now in إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ, after recognizing our Master, after recognizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we respond and we say, we will only show obedience and submission to yourself. So this is what is basically happening in this ayah. And we did mention some points with regards to ibadah is, what is worship? The worship that we consider are few that we know of, like salah, zakah, hajj, Ramadan, fasting. All these we consider to be of ibadah. However, we don't know much of any other ibadahs. So if someone prays salah, they give zakah, they do hajj, Ramadan, all those things, they do these few that are known, then this person is given a stamp of a person who is, mashallah, a worshipper. However, even if this person does everything else that are completely contrary to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent in the Quran, he will be still considered as a person who is a mashallah guy. And I'll give you an example later on. But let me give you one example so we can understand what we see as ibadah and what we don't see as ibadah. Yesterday we had a situation. We had a kid who was making noise. You were here? And then after the salah, you saw everyone, like they wanted to say something and they became angry. Why? Because they saw that their worship was interrupted. The worship that they were doing to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they saw this as a worship. And if, for example, those same people, if someone are backbiting in front of them, someone is lying, maybe someone is stealing, someone is doing bad business, someone is buying a house on mortgage, those same people will not say anything. They'll be like, it's his own life. Or if you do it, you're not going to have the same kind of the pain that you had when you were praying salah and maybe a kid was running around you in front of you. Why? Because they are not considered as worship in your sight. And this is the only type of worship we think. If someone prays salah, lots of salahs, maybe someone who is always in masjid, this guy is receiving, this guy is a guy in front of Allah. This guy is a man basically. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't work this way. Salah is one thing, ibadah, this is from ibadah. However, there are many other ibadats. Let me give you one example, and so it makes sense what is happening. I'm not giving you some sort of example in this fashion that it does not relate to us. It will be like, take my example. What happens? We just prayed the salah in here, and in this salah I said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I made a promise with Allah, that إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Oh Allah, only I will worship you. And in this worship means I will only submit to you. So meaning whatever you tell me, oh Allah, I am ready to listen and implement in my life. So this promise that I made with Allah. Now, as soon as this talk is finished, I go sit in the halaqah over there, and then I start speaking to the kids. The first thing I mention is you saw so many of the elders, they woke up and they went away. So they don't like the Quran. This is one thing I mention. Then later on, when I finish the halaqah, on the way home, when I look at the people, that maybe they came in from work or whatever they're doing on the street, I feel really good. I prayed salah, maybe I led the salah as well, and I did spend time in Quran, I was teaching and so on, and I see myself, mashallah guy. And I'm walking with like if I have achieved the mountains. And I walk like this and I see myself above from those people. Now I'm walking home, on the way, I reach home basically, I go to home. I enter the house which I have bought with mortgage. Maybe mortgage I took from Barclays or somewhere like there, Haram mortgage, interest based. This is the house that I'm entering to, which I have bought with mortgage. Now when I enter the house, I'm entering as if I'm entering a battlefield. or I'm entering some sort of emergency department. This is my situation. Then I go and I sit in front of a TV or pick up whatever tools that I have, and I get myself busy in, and I watch whatever I watch. And at the same time, maybe when I was entering, I saw my parents, they were upset, and instead of, I completely ignored and I just went, or maybe there was a bin bag in front of me and my mom or dad told me go pick this up and put it in the bin. So I completely ignored that and I was like, yeah, look at these guys, I'm tired, I just did what I did, and look at it, they are making me do this thing. So I ignored their request and I just go and I ignore that. So this is another thing I do. And then when the food is brought to me, I understand that this is not cooked in my own house, yeah, and someone has sent it, but I don't mention anything and start eating and whatever I'm doing. Then maybe someone in my house tell me that you saw the other people came in, or someone came to my house, or they were knocking and they did this and this, one of the neighbors, and I become proper angry and I go to the neighbors and I'm like, yeah, you did this and this and this and this. This example that I gave you, yeah, it is not something strange. Many of these things are implemented in our lives, but we don't see it. I put all them together and I mentioned them in this way, so it seems like something strange. However, these are normal in our life. These crimes that we're doing, these few words that I gave you, there were like more than 10 to 15 direct orders of Allah that I completely disregarded. While in the salah, I said what? إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Oh, Allah, listen to you. So how did I listen to Allah? Where in these, some of us will not have a clue what I said in here, yeah? Like there were so many ayats of Allah that left and right I broke. Complete direct orders of Allah. And to Allah I said, I will listen to you. I will obey you. I will submit myself to you. I will go against everyone but not you, O Allah. But I didn't do that. Why? What was the reason behind that? Because the only worship I considered in my life was this salah. I did the salah, tick. I did some bit of Quran over there, tick. That's it. After this, I'm free from Allah. I do whatever I need to do. This is my mentality. And these people may call me mashallah guy, top guy, whatever, mashallah, good. Everyone want to be like this. This is Abdul Rahman. Yeah. But Allah subhanahu, in His sight, I'm the worst of the criminals. While knowing all these things, like in these few, the example I gave you, there were like more than 15 direct orders of Allah that I broke. So you might think that I'm a abid, I'm a person who worship, but inside of Allah is a mujrim, a criminal. So these salahs that I do, or these fasting that I do, or these adhkar that I do, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, akbar, does it have benefit? Rather, it is against me. Because I can constantly make orders and make agreements with Allah, and I tear them apart day and night. So it is a serious matter that we understand what worship means. So when we say in إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, then it means, oh Allah, I will listen to you. It does not mean I only pray. That's it, the rest is me. Oh Allah, you got nothing to do with me. No. Everything that I do, the way I talk, the way I speak, the way I do business, the way I deal with people, the way I speak to, everything has to be under the Quran. And these things that I'm mentioning, don't think that, mashallah, I have all the good qualities. We are all lacking, but we all need to work. We all need to strive to go closer to Allah. And this is from the first steps, that we sit in front of the Quran and understand what Allah is saying, and then we can implement. So this is the first, these are the baby steps. Inshallah, as time passes, we will be able to understand the Quran and bring it in our lives. Wallahu a'lam.